In the Middle Ages, one of the worst things that can happen to you is getting accused of being a witch. You would much rather be called gay, because at least you work for the church. But being suspected of practicing the dark arts will only get you an invitation to the community barbecue. So, what are we cooking? The answer is you. In many cultures, there are people believed to possess supernatural powers. These powers may have healing properties, allow them to communicate with spirits, and make predictions of the future. They were often very respected members in society for their magical abilities. But in medieval Europe, people believed that witches used their supernatural powers in the name of the devil. So fear over witchcraft was rampant during this era of history. So beware! Even one simple suspicion can turn an innocent soul into the town's next main attraction. Number 1. Being a woman. Let the record show that there are cases where men have been accused of being a witch. But for the most part, women are the prime suspects of being one of the devil's numerous brides. So if you're a woman who has done anything seen of morally wrong, like flirting with men, being confrontational, or reading a book, well, let's just say the devil won't be the last person to rock your world. Number 2. Illness to those around you. Witches were thought to have the ability to craft magical potions and cast spells against people around them. So if it happens that there's sickness going around, but you look healthier than a horse, then let's just say that all those antibodies that have saved you from disease will be left with nobody to call home. Number 3. Being too smart. It was uncommon for normal, everyday people to be educated in math, science, or even have the ability to read. After all, knowledge was a privilege reserved to the wealthy nobles and members of the church. So if you were smart enough to notice patterns in nature, like the cycles of the moon, or which plants were deadly and which were safe to eat, then let's just say the worms know what they're eating tonight. Number 4. Doing suspicious things. In a time of mass paranoia, doing anything out of the ordinary could make people suspicious of you being a witch. And who could blame them? A man who befriended rats could have been the whole reason behind the bubonic plague. So what would be considered suspicious, you may ask? If you were caught whistling, you may be bewitched casting spells that attract supernatural and evil spirits. You're cooked. Caught yawning? Looks like your spirit just left your body and you're being overtaken by an evil demon. You're cooked. Got in a fight with your neighbor and then they suddenly experience bad luck? Well, isn't that a coincidence? You're cooked. If you happen to be left-handed, it looks like your actions are being influenced by the devil. You're cooked. If you decide to do some house cleaning, well, you're cooked. And if your opinions don't align with mine, then nighty-night, sleepy tight. Number 5. You look like one. Witches come from all shapes and sizes, but there were certain features that more than likely gave you suspicious looks. Having red hair was considered a telltale sign that you were a witch, as it was a rare hair color, and it made you look like you came straight from the fires of hell. If you had a birthmark, scar, or any unusual features on your skin, well, looks like the devil already got its mark on you. And let's just say, that won't be the last mark you'll be getting on your skin. When your appearance makes you stand out in a crowd, there's a high chance you'll be accused of being a witch, even when you are very physically attractive. Believe it or not, the devil Lucifer was one of the most beautiful angels before he decided to get a tan. So people fear that your bewitching good looks were tricks to fall under your spell. And to avoid falling for your smoking hot bod, expect to be sweating like a smoking hot hog. Number 6. Being too good at what you do. If you were a doctor in the 14th century, how funny would it be to be so good at doing your job to save lives, only for them to take yours in return? So as a doctor, you don't have much you can do. Doctor, my son is dying. Please help us. Don't worry, ma'am. I will handle this. How are you feeling, young man? Hey, doc. You know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I'm so sorry for your loss. I did the best I could. If you were exceptionally skilled at preparing cheese or brewing beer and it always comes out perfect, those jealous Jennies will start pointing their fingers that your natural skills were just the work of your dark magic. Then the last thing the brewery will be boiling is the blood under your skin. Number 7. Being close to animals. Simply put, animals are a devious bunch. Birds steal your food, most animals want to kill you, and who knows what those rats are up to. Witches were believed to have animal companions or familiars that they can communicate with to aid them in their magical practices. If people notice how well you get along with animals, then the alarm bells will start ringing. It would be especially concerning if you were really friendly with black cats, as cats were believed to be mischievous agents of evil. So don't be hanging around those felines unless you want to be dangling around the behind. Number 8. Being single. Life is hard being single in the Middle Ages. No one to share a life with, no one to get married to, no one to have kids with, and no one to cheat on. And when bad things are happening to the couples around you, you may be seen as a jealous bitch who casts a spell around them. Being single was a sign that you were probably suspicious. After killing all the beautiful and ugly people, what is your excuse for being single, you weirdo? I'm not looking for a partner right now. I'm hard at work at improving myself and mastering my craft. He says he's working on his witchcraft. So even if you're an independent woman who needs no man and is getting that bag, you just might end up with your body in a sack. Now tally up your points and see how many boxes you checked. Oh crikey, that's a lot. Just tell them you're gay. That's all for today, kids. Just remember, you are all beautiful matchsticks with unlit potential. There's a spark inside of you that needs to be set on fire. Let that passion in your heart burn so brightly, and you can set the world ablaze.